What up, everybody? Matt here, Hollywood's Garage. Today's video is going to be on the old Power Stroke here. It's kind of a 1 year, I guess, transition slash video on all of the things that were done to this truck since I bought it. Let's go back to the beginning. If you haven't followed along with this build, or you came in later on, well, guess what? You're missing a lot of things. I bought this truck sight unseen off the internet, 5 hours south of me. Sent the guy money. He sent me a video of it running. It was literally a barn find, as you can see here. So, met the guy, an hour, I guess, west of here. Picked it up. Cash was already sent to him. Drove it home. Guess what? It was deleted. The exhaust was, but not the EGR. Typical, right? You just put a tune on it. But what happened is someone reflashed the factory computer, lost the tune. He threw a Bully Dog 6-liter one on there just as a code deleter, and every time he tried to regen, he'd delete the code so it'd clear back up and run. But anyway, so that was a big issue. Had to get that fixed right away. Very first video was second video. First video was introduction. Second video would have been me figuring out this delete. I ended up doing an EGR delete, as you can see, right? No coolers, different intake horn there. And I had to get the truck deleted. So I bought myself an SCT Livewire Plus, TS Plus I think it's called, with a custom delete tune, with a shift on the fly, 5-way switch. That tuner kept breaking this ECM, well, not this one, this is like the third one. It kept breaking it over and over and over. So I took the truck to a diesel shop where maybe, in my opinion, maybe there was an issue with wiring or something. So you know what, let them deal with it. I'm not a big wiring guy. I'm sure some of you guys can agree with yourselves that wiring is just the shits. So, dropped it off. They tried 2 more times to download my tuner, and even me being on with SCT on the phone for over 2 hours previously trying to delete this thing or accept the tune, it wouldn't. It bricked 2 ECMs for them. They threw another one in it, and then we ended up putting EasyLink on it, and boom, we're good. Deleted. 50 horse tune. I did ask for the 5-way switch, but they just put a single tune on it. Whatever. Got me out the door. Got me driving. Okay, so now everything's good. We roll the coal. We do the black smokes. Wasn't going into limp mode. At that point, before then, I never really drove it. It was just sitting idling in my driveway, trying to get the tune and shit to work. Third video, I should say, was the 4x4 actuators. So when I got this truck, manual 4x4s all worked. It was missing, which is pretty common actually. This piece, I don't know, it's probably what allows vacuum to go to your hubs. And some hosing was off. So bought that, Dorman one, threw it on there, fixed my hosing. Got my everything to work. Problem is, when winter comes, the seals in the hubs, one per side, they leak. So when it's hot out and the seal, or even if the seals are warmed up, they hold, they work. Auto works. But like I said, when it's cold, it don't. So manual hubs it is. Okay, groovy, everything works. Next one, hose leak. So there's a hose on the bottom of this tank that goes down. I think it goes to the block, if I remember right. It's about that big. Had an O-ring failure. It would just take a little cooler over time. Like, what the heck? Finally found it. At that point, I just found an O-ring at Napa that fit perfectly. Actually, it was a little bigger, so snug fit, nice and tight. Okay, cool. Got that fixed. So, next video is just an oil change and a clock spring change because I had the airbag light on. And my cruise was intermittent, right? On, off. So, okay, well, let's change the clock spring. We'll get that figured out. Got myself a Dorman one, swapped it out. Fairly easy. But guess what? That didn't fix anything. It was already swapped out from the previous owner because of the airbag issue and the cruise. Whatever, right? Swapped it out. Got the other one, kept the old one, so it was brand new still. Then, my cruise control switch, I made a video on because that down there, there's a sensor, right down there. It's in the bottom. That's known for failing. This is my second I've had 3 6.4s. This is the second one where I had to switch out that switch for the cruise control to work. Super easy. Literally, all you need is a wrench, and it took like 10 minutes. You don't have to bleed brakes either. It just kind of threads it from the bottom, and it might drip a little bit. Even if it does drip, no air gets in, you're good. This engine came with quite a bit of blow by quite a bit, like not like a lot. but it had blow by. And I was having issues with after doing my EGR delete, I found oil residue in the CAC tubes, right? Like your tubes here or tubes there. So I want to do a CCV delete. I ended up buying a smeding kit. I took it off now, but I put it on then and ran just a hose. You know, it gets rid of this and it gets rid of that. So you plug this off and you have a hose that goes all the way down to wherever you want. Cool, it worked. I was still getting leaking from my valve covers. So comes to another video. I do this valve cover and the FPR, fuel pressure regulator switch. Well, you have that valve cover off, passenger side, you can get into there. You might as well. It's a muzzle while you're in there for that part, but okay, cool. Swap that out. Still leaking. I was getting crankcase pressures, pushing oil out of my glow plugs, actually is what it was. So I even replaced the passenger glow plugs too, right? Trying to get up that seal. Dorman ones, so not the best. Yeah, they worked, but the fit wasn't the best. So I was just tired of having, I hate oil leaks. They're the biggest pet peeve of mine. Next to like a vehicle not being reliable, obviously. But so we got them, we got that repaired by getting a whole new engine, right? So long story short, number 2, boop, the first one on this side, on the driver's side, injector started to stick. Overfueling, which is on a 6.4, let alone a diesel, it's not good. You'll crack a piston, wash your cylinders down, dilute your oil, yada yada. You know, the mess goes from there. So I buy an injector, a remanufactured one. I was gonna swap it out, but then I went to start it and there was a puddle of, like, literally hard to start, like it was trying to compress oil for whatever reason. So I ended up finally getting it started and it just leaked oil out the hot side of, or I should say the downpipe is where it leaked oil out of. It's like, oh crap, now what, right? So whatever, got started, runs, didn't end up changing injector. My guess was a cracked piston at that point. I mean, the truck has over 300, or almost, it had 292,000 kilometers, and it was a heavy hauler. This thing was used for trailers and everything. It had airbags front and rear. It was just obviously stock height then. So, okay, truck goes to the same shop that did my delete. They looked at it, said, yeah, you did a compression test, or actual compression test, and it was down, but it was within spec. But to me, it was down like 40 psi on that cylinder. I didn't make them do the rest, just that number 2. But they're like, yeah, everything kind of checks out. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just throw a long block in her. So they end up doing a swap for me. I requested a DFC Street Series engine, which is a long block, all remanufactured, O-ring heads, studded, you know, main bolts or ARP. What else? You know, just small things. I do have a video on everything on that if you're interested on those engines. So they swapped it out. Figured out that my turbo, one of my 2 turbos, seized up, solid. Yeah, it makes sense why it whistled. I think it was the low side one. I think the high side one still worked. Anyway, got a set of new turbos, were rebuilt turbos and actuator from BD Diesel too, as well as the engine, with EGR up pipes that are a delete, so you don't have that plate off the bottom of your engine. We have a plate, and then you're gonna have your EGR, or your, I should say, your back pressure sensor hanging off, you know, in nowhere's land there. It could break off. So yeah, they put those on for me too, because might as well. Everything is good, right? Started it up, drove it home, all was gooch. Okay, after that would have been, whew, well, you know what, actually, let's step back a little bit before that. This guy owned this truck before, obviously had issues with leaking coolant. So he put rad leak stop in it, or whatever you want to call that voodoo stuff. And guess what, guys? Do not use it. It plugs off literally everything, including your heater core. So this thing had heat while driving, but nothing at idle. And, you know, wintertime, diesel, let alone Canada. Ooh, who's calling? I'm back. People got to call me, like I'm important or something. Anywho, so yeah, so I ended up buying a new heater core. I tried to do it the hiccupy way and just cut the tubes and rubber hose clamp it behind the dash. Ripping the dash out takes 10 minutes once you do it once. But it kept leaking. I had heat finally, but it would leak. The passenger floor would be all wet. You know, finally I just bit the bullet, moved the dash, removed the HVAC box to get to the actual whole tubing system and changed it properly. you know, it's fun. I had to watch that video. It's a fun one. It's doable with the cab on and the engine in. You know, might have some scraped up arms and stuff from reaching behind the turbos to get to those couple bolts on the firewall, but totally doable. Another thing was a new transmission. The one that was in it was tired. The direct drive would just, anything over half a throttle would just slip, right? So got a good used one, had 10,000 K on it roughly, the guy said. Take that as a grain of salt. Paid $1,000 for it, swapped that out myself. First time doing it with, especially on a 4x4 truck. I've done it lots in my race car transmission, but different with a truck when you have a transfer case and stuff. Not much, but more work. Swapped that out on my garage floor on my back, so that was all good. We've been good since. So after that, truck drove. It's fine. It's great. It was awesome, right? I drove it for a few months like that, and then we started slowly doing upgrades. Ended up getting rid of the live wire kind of screen, because at that point all it is a screen and a code racer reader. Got myself the CTS3 with the bracket. You might be able to see through the frost there. So we got that in there now. I like it better as a gauge. Threw LEDs throughout the whole thing. Fog lights, headlights, turn signals. LEDs in here. We put LED switchbacks in here. We put mirror covers on, tinted the windows, got my logo on the back window, threw a tonneau cover on it, and the Master La Piece is the 6-inch ranch, rough country lift with a 2-inch add a lift, or I guess 2-inch leveling kit in the front. I got the back raised up to match as well, and then doing that, we kind of just powder coated everything satin black. It all looks good. And then I ended up buying these wheels off of Facebook. It was hard to find anything that would work for an 8x170. This guy had them on a newer Chev, so 8x180. He said they were off of Ford, and he bought them, ran adapters. Okay, so I went there, looked at them. Always wanted Tiz wheels. I wanted 24x14s. These are 22x14s. Like I said, not ideal, but here we are. Actually, they don't make these anymore, 22x14s. They'll make other sizes, but not the 22x14s. So, bought these. They got all good tires. I like these new Mutants. They're actually pretty good tires. I had to buy one center cap because it literally just broke off. The guy, previous whoever, tightened the 2 screws down, 1 per side, and it broke off. So I bought a new center cap, no big deal. But I went to put them on, and they didn't fit. They were 8x165. So now I have to run adapters, another inch and a half out, poke, to run adapters. Not happy about it. That's why I had to go 2 inches higher in the front, my leveling kit, so I could have at least 80% steering, 90% steering with the offset with a 37 by 13.5. Again, not happy about it, but I've always wanted Tiz wheels, and they were on an okay price. So here we are. Maybe I'll sell them or trade them next in the spring. You can guess with 14 wides is bearings and ball joints. So both sides of the truck have had new upper and lower ball joints and bearings per side. Who would have thought, 14 wides would wear out your bearings? Whereas some other big upgrades coming then, so stay tuned for that if you're into following a Superduty build. Anywho, so I put the lift kit on. I have that video. Front and rear, like I said. What else? The airbag light that I talked about previously. Went to the junkyard, found a module that had pretty close to the same numbers. I think I paid $40 for it or something, 20 bucks. Swapped it out, boom, done, fixed. Airbag light goes away, working airbag now. Another thing was my compass in these trucks. I don't know what it is, but every time I drive north, it always wants to recalibrate. Then it'll recalibrate, then it won't, then it will. Only north though. So went to a junkyard, found the same vehicles that had the same part number. Went to an Escape, pulled one off, swapped it out, we're good. That works, no issues at rear view and the compass. Other than that, just recently actually, the last couple of months, the reason why I didn't make this video back in September, which was my year of owning the truck, was the truck had an oil leak. Like I said previously, I cannot stand oil leaks. Rear main seal. So took it in because it's got a 5-year DFC engine warranty on it. They're like, yeah, no, rear main seal. Long story short, DFC only covers $650 of that bill. The shop charged me 7.2 hours, which is the book hours to do a rear main seal on this. They probably did it in 3 or 4, but that's the way shops work, right? You can't complain about that. This is the way it is. But long story short, I could have done it myself for $200, the price of the seal, the Ford one, and had it in and out in a day, because I mean, just drop a transmission, flex plate, and rear cover, right? So that's a bit of a bummer. I had to pay $600 out of pocket for that. It's like a $1,200 bill, and I had to pay the remaining. Ended up, they didn't pay me though for like a month and a half. They wait till they get the seal on, mailed to them on this desk, and then you wait 2 or 3 weeks after that to send out the check. Meanwhile, I'm lucky. I don't need my truck as a daily too much. Between my wife's Escalade and summertime, I have my race car. Then I also have a company truck for just day-to-day stuff for work, and so I don't really need a daily too much in the summer. But for me to have my truck back, I had to pay the full bill because the shop's not going to, take my word for it, or what if DFC doesn't pay? So I paid the whole bill, and they're like, when we get it, we'll e-transfer you because we live in 2024. We don't mail checks like DFC. So yeah, paid for it. 2 or 3 weeks later, finally got the reimbursement of $700 or $650 or something like that from DFC. So take that with a grain of salt. If you're going to get a DFC engine, finally the owner, Matt, reached out to me after I made a Facebook post or commented on a post about it. Reached out saying, they do offer an elite, they call it an elite warranty package or something for $1,200, something like that. And it probably would have covered just that bill, let alone more for later on. It ups your $125 per hour to $185 or something per hour they'll pay for a mechanic. So I suggest that if you're doing it, just get it. I didn't know about it, and when I ordered the engine through the shop, they weren't aware of it, so I never bought it. You have to buy it the day of or before installing it, like when you buy the engine. So whatever, it is what it is. He kind of made amends by being like, you know what, if you need anything else for the truck, any parts, whatever, come through me. I get parts at super cheap prices, and I'll try to save you some money where I can. So we'll see where that goes, right? Other than that, the engine's been good, strong, doesn't make any weird noises, starts fine. I had to throw a set of batteries in it like usual. It was an old diesel when I first got it. Other than that, it just ran fine. And my shop's been, Alpine Diesel's been super good to deal with. He even tried, even that owner reached out to me after reading that thread, being like, hey, and I never said any bad mouthing to either or company. It was just more or less my experience. So, but both owners reached out, Alpine Diesel and at DFC, and both straight up guys. I get it. Like, they're running a business. It is what it is. But other than that, that's kind of what we've done to the truck. I'll do a quick little walk around if you're new around here and you just kind of want to check out what I'm talking about. I mean, it's all close up. Let's do some far ways. So there we have it. That's kind of the year of owning the truck in review, 14 months. Truck's got I've had 2 oil changes on it since the motor swap. It's got like just under 6,000 kilometers on it. I'm gonna change the oil every 5,000 kilometers. Just why not? The old diesels, especially deleted and stuff. Like, just do it, guys. Spend a little bit extra money. I only run Ford stuff, Ford oil, Ford filters. But yeah, the engine's been good. Like I said, it's been a strong truck. Love the 6.4s. I love the front ends, and it being a 3-year run, it's not rare, and they were always, people hate them. You love them or you hate them. I love them personally. The interiors are nice, exteriors are nice, and this thing has no rust. Like, the frame is mint. No rust on the bottoms. Cab corners are good. Frame is all clean. It's the main reason why I bought this truck too. It's because the videos when he showed me, not a speck of rust. And I'm not a body guy, but I can fix shit with a wrench, so that was okay with me. But yeah, thanks for watching. Follow along. 2025 is going to bring some big stuff for this truck. Got some big plans. Follow along. Catch you in the next one.